Welcome to day 14. We are in 2 Peter. We're going to finish up 2 Peter chapter 2, or 2 Peter. I'm taught 1 Peter chapter 2. We're in 1 Peter. We're going to finish up chapter 2 today. And I've been a little long-winded the last couple of days. I'm going to try and keep it down a little bit today and get through quite a lot, actually. We're going to be going through verses 18 through 25. So let's keep with the whirlwind here and just get right into it. In verse 18 it says, servants, and this is talking about the master-slave relationship. Servants, be submissive to your masters with all fear. Again, back to what we were talking about last time about respecting those who are put in authority over you. Not only to the good and the gentle, but also to the harsh. You know, we need to submit to those who are in authority of us, whether they're the good people, the nice people, the ones who are looking out for us, or even the bad bosses. You know, I think we've all dealt with that at least once in our lives where we've had a bad boss or somebody that we would coin as a bad boss. We still really need to submit to those people. In verse 19 it says, for this is commendable if because of conscience towards God one endures grief, suffering wrongfully. For what credit is it if when you are beaten for your faults you take it patiently? He says, why is it going to be considered virtuous if you keep your mouth shut and don't complain about something that you really deserve? Then he says, but when you do good and suffer, if you take it patiently, this is commendable before God. See, this is the punishments that we don't deserve. The scrutiny and the judgment that we take on as believers and standing up for what's right, and we get wronged because of it. And Peter really gives us the reason why we need to live this. When we're wrong, when we do this, what's the point of it all? It says, for to this you were called. We were called to do what? Because Christ also suffered for us, leaving us an example that you should follow in his steps. We've all heard the term Christ-likeness, and it seems to be one of those Christian buzzwords that we all kind of refer to, but nobody can really quite define. And it really is patterning our lives after how Jesus Christ lived his. That's a really high standard, one that we really can't hold up to most days. In fact, any day. Because that high standard is perfection. And I have yet to have one day in my life where I actually lived up to it. I've had some good days. I've had some days where I didn't screw up as much as I did good. However, I still have always dealt with the fact that I have never lived a perfect day in my life. And yet that is the pattern by which I am modeling my life after as a Christian. I am looking to Jesus Christ as my example. And when we're wronged, how do we respond? Well, Peter says you respond the way Jesus did. Look at this. In verse 22, he says, who committed no sin, nor was deceit found in his mouth. Who, when he was reviled, did not revile in return. When he suffered, he did not threaten, but committed himself to him who judges righteously. Who himself bore our sins in his own body on the tree, that we, having died to sins, might live for righteousness, by whose stripes we were healed. For you were like sheep going astray, but now you have returned to the shepherd and overseer of your souls. See, the wonderful thing is, we don't have to wonder what to do when we're wronged. We don't have to wonder even before we're wronged, how we're supposed to respond to the world around us. He says, live godly and righteously. Do what Christ did. If you ever have any confusion about how you ought to respond, ask yourself is this what Jesus would have done? We went through a phase several years ago, and I have a bracelet on that has the WWJD, what would Jesus do? And it's a question that we really ought to ask ourselves at every point of our day. What would Jesus do? How would he respond to life? Even if he was wronged, he would take it, because he knows who's in control, and he knows who is justice and who is righteousness. It's God himself. It is the God that you and I both serve. And when we're wronged, we know he's in control of all things. Thanks for joining me again today. I hope you're enjoying where we're going in 1 Peter. We'll pick it up in chapter 3 next time. See you then.